Here we go.
Hey guys, are you looking for an interesting plant? Something to add to your collection that you might not have? Level of difficulty? Stick around. I've got a few plants that I'd like to show you that are in my collection that are a little bit unusual. Some are easy to care for a little bit, and some are a little demanding. So stick around. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome to Just a Plant Room. My name is Husta, and today I'd like to show you 5 plants in my collection that I find interesting. Some of them are super easy to take care of, a couple of them are a little bit more difficult. Today I'd like to start with the Shangri-La Pothos. And as you can see here, oh yes, she is vining. And I guess you could put her on a pole, but I kind of like the way she looks hanging. This plant is native to South America. It's an epiprimnum. I don't know why more people don't have this plant. I think they're weirded out. You know, I've seen posts where they call it the spinach pothos, or they call it the wilted pothos. I've even seen where it's called the sleepy pothos. To me, it's actually a very interesting plant. I love the fact that the leaves are crinkled and they're kind of not open, but they are open, and it's just interesting. She makes a lovely hanging plant. I guess you could put her on a pole, but to me that seems like a waste because you lose, you know, some of this beauty of her hanging down. She's super easy to care for. Like most pothos, you know, water her when she's dry. She likes bright light. I fertilize her all year round because, as you can see, my plant room is a little bit bright, so she doesn't know the difference between winter and summer. And yeah, I think this is one that you should actually consider. This would make a nice addition if you collect pothos. This would make a nice addition to your collection. And again, super easy to care for. And people might actually be interested in her when they come to your home, because who could not resist those leaves? All right, moving right along. The next plant I'd like to talk about is the Piper Canttom. Now, this plant, when I originally got it, it kind of weirded me out. I had it in the other room, not necessarily in this plant room, and she wasn't doing well. She wouldn't grow. The leaves kept dying. And I got to looking at her and I thought, oh my God, I got bugs. If we zoom in here, you can see on the back of the leaves, you see that stuff that's back there? I saw that and I freaked out. Immediately took her to the sink and washed her and got all that stuff out. And then when I did my research, I found out she's supposed to have those. So basically, they're extra floral nectaries, and basically the plant uses this as a defense mechanism, and when it pushes those out, it's literally attracting ants to help defend it against other pests. This plant is a little difficult to care for. What I quickly learned was that it likes high humidity. It does not like to go dry. She likes to stay moist. They say bright light, but I found that she does well in highlight. Other than those things, what's not to love? Look at these leaves. You see that coloration? It's the pink and the green, and then they're heart-shaped. I mean, what's not to love? It's just gorgeous. It's I don't know how else to describe it. There is another Piper that I'm trying to get my hands on that I have not seen locally. I'm looking for it online. It's a silver, it's called a sylvaticum. And basically it's the same plant, but the leaves are green. And it's really pretty. Yeah, so you know, if you've got a greenhouse, this one lives in my greenhouse. It lives in an IKEA cabinet, and it sits right up under the light. And I keep her moist. I water her about once a week, and she's happy. She's growing and she's vining, and yeah, I actually love her. All right, moving right along. Let's talk about plant number 3. Let me turn her around so we can get this over here. So I know you guys have seen pitcher plants, right? There's several different kinds. The one that I have is native to South Asia. And this is her right here. And as you can see, she's a little wilty. She's thirsty. I need to water her. And that brings up a good point. So, you know, you should water with distilled water, but I'm too cheap to buy distilled water, so I have a Brita pitcher, and I fill that, and that's what I use to water her. They say that you should feed this plant, you know, if you don't have bugs available. They say you can use, you could use something like freeze-dried worms, or you could buy fish pellets. You know, it's controversial a little bit. I've seen online where they say don't do it, you know, let it catch what it can. I have not personally fed this plant. I figure she can live on the gnats that are available. I'm not putting in any live insects. I'm not doing that kind of stuff. Other than that, she's awesome. I love the fact that you can see where the pitchers are going to come from. For instance, they grow from the tip of the vines, and you can see where they're forming on all the tips. And as they die off, I don't pull them off. You know, as they dry up and they die off, they just fall. She currently lives in my other room, which we call the orange room, and she is under a grow light, and there's a humidifier that runs there because they do like the humidity. This is a vining plant. As you can see, if you look at this tendril here, this is going all the way up like that. And I love the jungle vibe that it gives. You know, that's kind of cool. So easy to care for as long as you keep her moist. She doesn't like to go dry. And you can tell, you know, when it's time to water her, like right now, she doesn't weigh anything. So typically what I do is I pour a little bit of the water on the top, and I let the container fill on the bottom, and I let her sit there 30, 45 minutes, an hour, until she's absorbed all the water that she needs. Cool plant to have though, not difficult to care for. As long as you got a little bit of humidity and some bright light, she'd be happy. Okay, plant number 4. Let me reach down here and grab it. So this is my ant plant. And you say ant plant? And that's what I said. I looked up, you know, the care requirements for this plant, and I had a spot for her. So, you know, my husband actually gifted this one to me. I think it was last year sometime. But the cool thing about this plant is that out in the wild, you see this bulb right here? From what I've read, this bulb fills with a sticky sap, and it attracts ants. And the ants actually live in this bulb. So the plant creates a symbiotic relationship with the ants, and the ants protect the plant from other insects. How cool is that? Now granted, when I read that, I was like, so am I going to get ants in my house? But no, it doesn't work like that. That only happens in the wild. And when I got this plant, it had this fern on here, and I decided not to get rid of it. And the fern has just been growing with the plant. This plant is native to Indonesia. It likes filtered light. It enjoys humidity. It likes its soil moist but not sopping wet. And I believe you can propagate it by stem cuttings. I have not tried. I also found out recently that it flowers. It has not flowered for me, but that's okay because I think she's interesting and beautiful just as she is. Right, let me put her back down. And let's get to the last plant on my list. So, I have never ever been able to grow a fern. if you're like me, you've seen the ferns in the summertime and they're beautiful. These big old Boston ferns, and as soon as you bring it home, it turns into a hot, crisp mess and dies. That's me. But if you like ferns, check this bad boy out. So this is a kangaroo fern. It is the first fern that I've actually been able to grow and care for without a problem. This fern lives in my kitchen in a west-facing window. And from what I gather, they're native to Australia and New Zealand. In the wild, they're known to grow on trees and rocks, and they grow in moist soil. For me, it seems very happy in the kitchen. It gets bright and direct light. I have not repotted this, so this is in the dirt that it came from when I bought it. What I found interesting about this plant is, let me turn it around just a little bit, and hopefully I don't knock anything over. It grows from rhizomes, and the rhizomes put out these weird tendrils that are kind of like fuzzy and hairy, and you get new leaves from that. And she's got this jungle vibe thing going on. It's just a cool plant. If you want a fern and you can't grow a fern, you should look into this one. It's a kangaroo fern, super easy to care for. She doesn't like to go dry. Just make sure she stays moist. And she'll put out these long tendrils for you, giving you that jungle effect, that boho vibe in any spot in your home. Yeah, I absolutely love her. So those are my 5 unusual plants that are kind of easy to care for. Let me know which plants you like. Are there some plants that I didn't show that are easy to care for or unique, different, maybe I should look into? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and don't forget, subscribe, like the video, and let me know what you think. Welcome to the community. Thank you for visiting. This is Husta from Just a Plant Room. Bye.
Damn.